This is the main event.
The gloves are coming off.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
We're about to go full court press.
Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win! They win!
It's time to play ball.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone!
Listen in as we tackle everything in the world of sports right now.
Who do you think you are? I am!
Throw your hat in the ring at 516-572-7440. This is WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC.
Here we go, and welcome to WHPC Sports Talk. I am Michael Merlo. Alongside me, I have Matt Leonard, Joshua Uhami, Ross Levine, and Elijah Blain. A big-time week. It is finally Super Bowl week. So excited for that, guys. How pumped are you?
I am extremely excited. This is not the Super Bowl I don't think anybody expected, but I think it'll be a great game nonetheless.
Yeah. I hope so. I'm hoping it's going to be a really great game, yeah.
I mean, this
Bengals defense underrated.
Yeah, this is a Madden-generated Super Bowl matchup at this point. I mean, Bengals-Rams, I'm pulling for the Bengals real hard. I just need to see a team, exercise those demons, just win their first championship. That'll be nice.
We're going to talk about it a little bit, obviously. We don't want to go overkill. It'll be the main topic all week. There's a lot of NBA to get to. We're going to get to that very shortly. There's a ton of coaching rumors and hires out there going around that, of course, we are going to get to you. We are going to start, though, just a little bit with the Super Bowl. And something I didn't realize, really, and it's shame on me for not realizing it until today, was that Zach Taylor worked under Sean McVay for a long time. He's he's really the first coach under the McVay tree to get a job. And I remember when he got the job, Zach Taylor, and I was not a fan of it. But
I'm still not a fan of it.
Really?
I'm not. I
They're
feel
in
like
the Super Bowl, Josh.
I feel like he's just been carried by Burrow and an opportunistic defense, and he's just really not that good
I gotta give him. I gotta give him credit, credit where credit's due. You've gotten a team with a terrible offensive line. He's an offensive coach. A team with a terrible offensive line to the Super Bowl. I'm probably gonna give him a little more credit than you, Josh, but maybe I'm on the side with you that I'm not fully convinced. But he's done a great job this season. Let's see how it is next year. But I never realized it, and McVay, obviously, he's like this kid genius. He was the youngest coach to ever go to a Super Bowl when he was 33 years old, when he lost to the Patriots a few years back, and now he's the second youngest coach to ever go to the Super Bowl.
To himself.
So it's pretty crazy, his career so far, and I think we'd all agree that he is the better coach, and that's an advantage, almost like a check mark. If we're going to do check marks all week, what box are we going to check? I would check the head coaching. We'll start there to the Los Angeles Rams over the Bengals.
I got an interesting one. If you want to do these check mark comparisons, who's the better quarterback?
Wow.
Right now, Burrow.
I'd say Burrow.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
It's very close.
I say Burrow, too.
And of course, Burrow behind a terrible offensive line. I mean, I'm gonna say that all week. All week.
It's really bad.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
I said it last week. People call them the turnstiles. It's really, really bad.
Their tackles are okay. They're not great, but they're okay. Their interior offensive line is awful. Terrible.
And they have to go against Aaron Donald.
And now you have to go against Aaron Donald. So, I think you could tell with my voice where I'm leaning and who I'm going to pick in this game, but it's still close. It's still very close. And like you had said, their defense is underrated. Trey Hendrickson, the Bengals, Trey Hendrickson has had a fantastic year again after, he just got paid after he was with the Saints last season.
Yeah.
He gets paid a 3-year contract. He got a ton of money, $40 million. People are like, who is this? He had another fantastic season.
I thought it was a 1-year, contract year wonder when he was with the Saints.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't want to re-sign him for that reason, and then he just proved everybody wrong this season.
He's been absolutely fantastic. He had a couple of sacks last week. I think he has the second, or he's top 5 at least in pressures, which is a big stat for pass rushers. So a very impressive season. And listen, I think that their secondary, and we'll obviously talk about Eli Apple, their secondary isn't that great. So it's going to be interesting to see what these receivers for the Rams can do.
I am really curious to see how the Jalen Ramsey-Jamar Chase battle goes.
Yup.
That's going to be exciting.
That should be exciting, and I think Ramsey's got a little bit of an edge here.
You think Ramsey's got the edge?
I think Ramsey's going to shut him down. What do you call him? Like ice him out. Shut him out.
Shut him out, yeah.
Just take him out of the
Shut
game.
him out means he has no
No, I don't
receptions.
mean shut him out, but like take him out of the game.
Yeah.
I mean,
he won't be a factor, you're
He's
saying.
got that ability to do that.
you
I
basically,
just don't
yeah.
think so. I don't think with Jamar Chase. I think this is kind of like when you see in baseball a young home run hitting rookie comes. Pete Alonso, for example. When Pete Alonso came in the league, he broke the record because no one knew how to pitch to him. No one knows how to guard Jamar Chase yet.
Well, there's more tape on Chase. I mean, you can go back to college too. It's difficult. Listen, he's a fantastic talent, and he's burned me a couple of times. And
He burned a lot of people.
he didn't play that well actually last in the AFC Championship game though. He wasn't great in that game, but the Chiefs did a fantastic job with him. They had a safety over the top every time. They were not going to let Jamar Chase be the reason why they lost, kind of like last time when they played in Cincinnati in Week 17. Chase had 250 yards, broke a rookie record, and they won the game. They don't win that game without Jamar Chase. 516-572-7440. You want to talk about the Super Bowl or anything in the NFL, please give us a call. I was thinking about this today, and as I'm leaning right now, I think it's got blowout potential.
The Super Bowl? Really?
Yeah, I do. I think it
On
could
both
get
sides, or you're saying one team you're leaning towards?
on one side. I think it could get out of hand.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I'll warn you guys. I hope your parties are great. I hope you're having a good time at your parties, because I don't think the game is going to be much of an enjoyable.
So, like last year's Super Bowl, you think
yeah,
that bad?
I think it could be that bad.
I don't.
In the same, and almost for the same reasons.
Do you know why I'm a little bit higher on the Bengals? Because one person no one talks about that like carries the Bengals offense when Burrow's not connecting, he's getting sacked and stuff. I think Joe Mixon is gonna have a big game. I feel like he's gonna have over 100 yards rushing
Behind that offensive line.
Yeah.
With Aaron Donald in the middle.
Yeah.
One
And
thing about
Leonard
that
Floyd and
offensive
Von Miller
line,
on the
too.
sides.
Yeah.
One thing about that offensive line, they are better run blockers. Like
Yes.
They are.
They
That's
can
true.
pass protection,
That's
but
true.
they can run block.
They are, but and listen, they've proved you wrong. I mean, getting to the Super Bowl with a bad offensive line is not an easy thing to do. They have run the ball pretty well. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
It's funny that their interior offensive line is so bad, but they can run block. That'll be interesting to see. Can they stop the run? If the Rams did what they did last week to the 49ers and stop the run like that, I wouldn't want to be the Bengals.
Yeah.
Stop the really great running game last week.
Yeah, but I just think
2
it's
weeks
just
ago, excuse
hard
me.
to trust McVay in big games. Like last time he went to the Super Bowl, 3 points against a not so great.
That was Bill Belichick.
yeah.
You
that
know,
team was
I actually
meh.
heard
His quarterback was Jared Goff.
I heard
think
McVay. I heard McVay explaining that, and
Yeah.
he said he was so caught up in just being in the Super Bowl and such a young guy that he thought he had this game plan that was so perfect already. On 2 days after they had won the NFC Championship game, and didn't make enough adjustments in the game. And he said obviously that was a mistake. He was stubborn. And he's learned from that mistake, hopefully. And let's see. I don't want to judge one guy this great, this young on one game in his career.
He's like 40, right?
He's not even 40. He's 36.
No. Well,
Wow.
So I don't want to judge him just yet. Listen. If he loses this game and they have they're terrible on offense, then I'm with you. I could say,
Yeah.
okay, maybe this guy is not a big game coach. Maybe he can't coach a big game. Andy Reid, before he had Patrick Mahomes, was not able to win the big games.
yeah.
Let's see what happens. It'll be interesting to see. We got to get to some coaching rumors, but first, Alvin Kamara, Saints running back, was arrested last night for an incident that happened on Saturday in Las Vegas. He was there for the Pro Bowl. He did play in the game, but he was arrested after the game.
Did they arrest him in his jersey?
I don't know, Josh.
He's like full pads and handcuffs.
You said you have a little more information on this.
Yeah. Okay. So I heard about it late last night. First of all, there was a rumor I saw they leaked the Eric Bieniemy interview went well. Blah blah blah. I'm feeling good as a Saints fan. I'm like, okay, Eric Bieniemy, I like him. This would be a good hire. Not even 5 minutes later, the Kamara's news breaks. I'm like, all right. So more information comes out today. Apparently, it was Kamara, his girlfriend Tia Cooper, and like his entourage, right? And
Yeah.
I think they're going to walk into an elevator, and I think this guy who got beat up saw them, and they started going back and forth, and I think Kamara like pushed his hand away or something, and then it's actually his entourage that started getting him on the ground and kicking him.
So he's guilty by association. Is what
Pretty
you're saying.
much.
He didn't really hit anybody.
Yeah, and the funny thing,
When you said running back, girlfriend, elevator, I thought
No,
Ray Rice and was like, no.
that's true. That's very true. Thankfully, I think Kamara's a lot more innocent than Ray Rice
Okay,
was.
good,
Yeah.
good.
It's going to be interesting to see if there's like video of this if it comes out. And number two, the guy got beat up by like 3 other guys, but he only identified Kamara, so that's already fishy from the jump.
Well, I mean,
Right.
out of all these players, one's an NFL superstar and the rest are just his
Yeah.
friends. Who are you
Yeah,
going to identify?
That's true.
You could sue him, and then you're going to get a bunch of money.
Yeah,
I mean,
who are you going to identify in that group of people out of all of them? I don't know any of you, but you play for the Saints. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty telling that they let him play in the Pro Bowl after this. I mean, it's
Well,
like
they didn't arrest him until
after the Pro Bowl. Yeah, I mean, it's just a downward spiral for the Saints at this point. I mean, Sean Payton's gone. Kamara gets arrested, and you're like in cap difficulty stuff. I mean,
You know that I don't know if you guys know the Office meme. It's
Which
like
one?
0 days since
yeah.
yeah,
last nonsense. That's what it's like being a Saints fan, especially lately. There's
Yeah.
always something going on, and this is just
That's how it felt for me last offseason.
with
honestly,
the
yeah.
Rodgers drama, yeah.
Every day is in the report, Rodgers is coming. No, he's not. Now, maybe he may come back, and they may
yeah.
retire. And like,
As an opposing fan, that was unbearable. So it's funny
Yeah.
that I'm going through it now, and it's going to be interesting to see where it goes.
You know what's interesting about the Saints is that, to me, it's the least desirable job out there right now.
yeah.
To me. I don't know if it is in league circles. I think being that much in debt with the cap space, having no answer whatsoever on the roster at quarterback, and having very little draft capital, to me, I wouldn't want to go there. But the Saints right now have a finalist for this job, and that is Brian Flores. And we obviously know the drama going on with him and the lawsuit. But if they can bring him in, this is a very solid head coach, a guy that could, almost reset the franchise, be part of the rebuild if that's what they plan on doing. And if they don't plan on doing that, they still have pieces on defense that he could coach up. Offensively, they'd have to figure it out somehow. I don't know how they'll do it, but they'll have to figure it out. If they don't go toward a rebuild and they do want to compete, you've got a great defense, you bring in a great defensive coach. That works to me.
Yeah, it's almost like zagging when everyone's zigging because everyone's hiring a young, like, offensive guy. Look at the Dolphins. They hired
Not the
Mike
Bears.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, they hired a Mike McDaniel, a young offensive guy.
I love that hire for Miami, by the way.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely love it.
yeah.
did you? We were talking about it before you got here. Did you know he's biracial?
Yo.
He is.
Okay, so I've known about Mike McDaniel for a while now. When people started tweeting, "Oh, so Mike McDaniel's is biracial," I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
You look at him and you're
I
like,
thought it was like I saw like minority coach. I'm like, oh, what is he? He's like half Asian. No, he's not.
Yeah.
There were some people on Twitter.
like Nick Kroll.
I was just listening to the radio. Some people were actually asking for evidence. They wanted to
I'm
know.
one of them.
They wanted to know. Like, send me a picture of your parents when they got married.
Send me a
Please.
picture of your
No, people were asking for this on Twitter. They're like,
DNA
please.
testing in the NFL just to see if this. Oh my god.
It's unbelievable. I couldn't believe it, but yeah, Mike McDaniel, that's a fine hire. I mean, the Dolphins already put themselves at a disadvantage when they fired a guy that should be a head coach in this league, in Brian Flores, and they lost out on a couple of guys. They really wanted Dayball, and they didn't get him.
I mean, McDaniel came from a good system in San Francisco, so that's a good start.
It's a copycat league, but we know how much influence that Kyle Shanahan has on that team and that offense. So unless he's bringing that same offensive system with him, which again, like I said, copycat league,
That could
surprise me.
You know what? He was a running game coordinator for the Niners, like when they made the Super Bowl, and that was their best part of the team.
Yep.
So, yeah.
No, listen, I think that this could definitely be a good hire. We see the trend in the NFL right now. It's young offensive minds,
Yeah,
especially if you got young quarterbacks.
and the Jets and the Dolphins, it's similar. They both had the same systems, basically.
Right.
Because it came from the Shanahan system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, with the Jets and their offensive coordinator, right. I forgot, because I heard Colin Cowherd today. He was kind of taking
and Rob Saleh, too.
He was taking a dig at the Jets. He was like all these. He was talking about the Jaguars, who actually just hired Doug Peterson last week, and he was like, good for Trevor Lawrence. He gets an offensive coach, unlike Zach Wilson, and Justin Fields, who have defensive coaches. But the Jets, I mean, I think they've gotten their offensive coordinator right. And when you hire a defensive coach, I'm not saying don't hire a defensive coach, a defensive-minded coach. That's not a bad thing. It just makes your offensive coordinator hire
much
so important. You need to get that right, which was one of the reasons why I did not want Brian Flores and I wanted Brian Daboll as a Giants fan. I didn't trust them to, like, okay, you make this hire, but now you got to go out and you got to make another huge hire. It's almost like another head coach, basically.
But you're almost, regardless of who the Giants hired, you have to keep that coach for like more than 2 years. You can't consistently fire coaches.
You hope so.
Yeah, no, but
You
like
have to. He's got to go. You know, if
That's
he's
true, too.
that bad.
but then it really is on ownership then, because you hired him.
Yeah,
That's
I
true.
mean, it's not my money. I don't care. They could pay him.
And very quickly, I know we're going all over the place with these head coaches, but I was, you know what's really funny? I was going through my old photos yesterday, okay, a couple of years ago, and I screenshotted something, and it was about Eric Bieniemy. And they were talking about Eric Bieniemy, and the Falcons had interviewed him. And the Falcons, like, before interviewing, were like, we like this guy, we like what he's done, let's talk to him.
Was this after they fired Dan Quinn?
Yes.
Okay.
And they had said, I think so. And they had said, and this is when the report came out, that he didn't interview well. We had seen this. He didn't interview well. And they said that the Falcons loved him, you know, again, on paper, everything. And then I read that in this screenshot that I had, that Mike Kafka, the new Giants offensive coordinator, the quarterback's coach with the Chiefs, had more to do with the development of Patrick Mahomes than Eric Bieniemy did.
Yeah, so that makes it a good hire for the Giants. Like,
I believe that.
Yeah, there are some red flags with Bieniemy, like you said. There was another one where it was like he was calling plays while the Chiefs were in their rut, and then Andy Reid basically said midway through the season, all right, I'm calling plays again.
Right.
And we saw that all the way through the season. So it's some interesting stuff flying around with him. I just like the idea of either him or Flores. As a Saints fan, I will be completely fine with both of them. And Dennis Allen, too.
I'm leaning towards Flores for the Saints. I think you have to be unique. You have to establish a defensive identity in that division.
He would be great with the locker room too.
Yeah.
Like the Saints, some of the players as we've seen with the Kamara stuff. The Saints is a very unique locker room.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
But in all
Jameis
seriousness,
Winston.
I feel like he would be probably the best candidate to kind of support that.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
There are certain situations for guys like that.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of them. Because let's say the Saints say, okay, we're going to fix our cap, and we have the defense right now. We'll figure out a stopgap quarterback, and this year we will go for it in a terrible division. And let's see what our defense can do for us.
Terrible division.
So let's say that's their plan.
I think they have their stopgap quarterback with Winston.
Isn't Winston a free agent?
Is he?
Yeah. So
He
they
is, but
don't have
they're
one.
like heavily favored to bring him back.
So let's say they do go for it, and then whatever, they win the division, they lose in the wild card game or whatever, that's it, it's done. Now you start the rebuild. You could start the rebuild with Brian Flores because he's going to set the tone, set the culture, and hopefully, like it looked like it was happening with the Dolphins, the rebuild's a little quicker than you hoped.
To that point, too, it's like, I don't think we're doing a complete tear down. I mean, yes, with the cap situation, it's got to get figured out eventually. We just can't keep, what do they call it? Well, restructuring and kicking the can, right?
What do you have? Negative how much?
Negative 70 million. But we've been in that situation since 2016, really. And all we've done is just restructure contracts year after year after year. At some
How
point,
is
we're
that
going to
allowed?
Yeah, I don't know, but
Not fair. What's the point of cap space if you can do that?
our GM Mickey Loomis is like one of the best at doing that. So it's
Okay.
we're in an interesting spot. I feel like, Mike, you said it's a terrible division. It's like it's awful.
Yeah.
The Tom Brady walking away and the Falcons and Panthers. I mean, come on now.
They're a joke, and
So-
it should. Listen, the Saints, if they figure it out and their defense is back together, they should figure out a way to win some games. Very quickly, the Texans, it's being reported now, have hired Lovie Smith, their defensive coordinator, as head coach. I'm just going to say this. Lovie Smith was a good Bears coach. He was good there. They haven't gone to the playoffs or had
They were in the plus once.
Once since he was there.
They were
I heard
told
that.
Nagy.
Yes, Nagy went. So Nagy, and then before that, they hadn't gone to the playoffs since. Mm-hmm. I just hope this isn't like the David Culley situation. They're giving him a short-term deal. Let's see what happens. Are they hiring another stopgap? Is that what they're doing?
I mean, they really want Josh McCown for some weird reason.
Like, to that point, like, work with me, guys. Like, so the Flores lawsuit comes out.
Yeah.
And amidst all that, it would be a terrible look to hire Josh McCown, who's never been a coordinator.
They could never do that.
With the lawsuit, they could never get away with that. So I'm worried about this because I feel like just from knowing a little bit how the NFL operates, it's like, all right, they made the boss call to the Texans maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
hire this guy in-house or hire somebody with actual credibility.
And hire McCown as a coordinator or quarterbacks coach.
Let him prove himself.
And then hire him whenever. You might be right. I don't know.
It's just fishy to me, you know?
It's a little fishy. You're right. I think they could have just hired Flores and ended it all. But again, I hopefully the Saints do that. And maybe the story will be, I mean, I don't know how much proof he has, how much evidence he has on the Giants, on the Broncos, or on the Dolphins.
I think he has the most evidence against the Dolphins by far.
Yeah. I think the main thing is the Dolphins.
I don't think he has proof. I don't know. I don't think he has proof on Stephen Ross. Like, if he doesn't have physical evidence that says, here's a text message or here's a recording, they're not going to just go off of, he told me to do that.
I think they're just going to settle regardless because the NFL doesn't like their, they don't want to go into discovery. They don't want to go to,
You're probably right.
Dirty laundry being aired.
They probably will settle very quickly. I just want to move on because I do want to get to the basketball. It definitely relates to us in this town. The Giants lose Patrick Graham as defensive coordinator. He is going to the Raiders. They've started interviews. There's a few guys they are interviewing. Steve Wilkes was one of them. Wink Martindale was one of them. Jim Schwartz was one of them. So we'll see what happens there. We'll save the Giants. They want to cut 40. They want to shed $40 million of cap space. We'll save that for another day.
Good luck.
I mean, I think they'll be able to do that.
Kenny Galladay.
I gotta hire the Saints accountant.
It's gonna really suck.
I got 4 guys right here.
Yeah,
that make it very easy, and I feel like I don't think it's bad at all. You cut Blake Martinez, you cut Sterling Shepard, you cut Kyle Rudolph, and you cut James Bradbury. Bang, it's more than $40 million.
Bradbury.
Yeah, I would cut Bradbury only because I look at it and saying to myself, he wasn't great last year. He did get better a little bit at the end, but by that point, it was kind of late. The first year was good, but the problem is if you really want to strip it down, I don't know. I know he's not a believer in that, but you got to do it at some point. So.
He's gonna.
And our secondary is not like our biggest problem at this point.
The secondary is good.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of the strengths, in my opinion. You get rid of him. Who again? Bradbury was not great, and you draft a couple of corners to supplement that. You have a good secondary.
Yeah, and you look at it as well. Jabril Peppers is probably gone.
He is gone.
So it's going to be interesting what the cornerback position is now. And now, if you bring in somebody like Don Wink Martindale, a guy that loves to blitz, you got to bring corners.
Yeah.
Yeah, and cutting Blake Martinez furthers my point that I think the Giants should look at inside linebacker in the draft with one of those high picks. Yeah. So I mean, it's going to suck to cut all of these good Bradbury is not a bad player in my opinion. He just had a bad year.
Yeah, but they've been part of losing. It's not their fault, but they're part of losing.
And he's older. Yeah. He was, now you're paying him so much. What if an injury happens next year?
Gettleman guy from
get him
the Panthers. Yeah.
He was great. He was great in that first year. Get him out.
But the other thing too is Joe Shane has no ties to any of these guys, so there's really no point. Yeah, which is no point to keep them.
And Blake Martinez was very good for this team. No doubt about it.
It's not his fault that he got hurt. It just happens.
He tore his ACL.
Same thing with Shepard.
He's gonna be a middle linebacker coming off a bad injury. There's no need, and he's making too much money. Same thing with Shepard. Shepard's always hurt. Please, I would cut Shepard tomorrow.
He's made of glass. I'm sorry. It's just facts.
He's been on so many bad teams, and he always balls out. He's just made of glass and paper.
But he's not elite.
There's no argument to keep him. With the money he's making, with his track record as a Giant, I know Jones loves throwing to him whenever he's out there, but your best ability is availability, and he is never on the field.
Ingram?
He's gone.
He better be gone. I don't want to see that guy.
So. I think they're keeping him.
Why would they?
Why would you keep Evan Ingram?
Yeah,
Because
you can't.
so many people in the NFL are high on Ingram
So?
for some reason. Whatever.
So,
Because
what is
he can
that? So
run as a
why
tight
would the
end.
Giants do that?
I mean, I think that Schoen believes that he can use Ingram in that system.
I doubt it. I really don't think he's coming back. I'd be very shocked.
How
I'd
do
be
you
very
use a pass catcher that can't catch passes? How do you use
And he doesn't
that?
block. He does not block.
I agree. I just feel like he's coming back. I have that feeling.
If
I put a lot of money on that he's not.
Yeah.
I don't think he's back. I think, look, too many drops, injured, part of not even a Gettleman regime. It's actually part of the Reese regime.
That's Rafe.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the last Reese pick.
So I think he's gone. You got to try maybe get a tight end in the third or fourth round and see where that goes.
Agreed. And you could always sign, a tight end, a blocking tight end, a second string tight end, and figure it out. Rudolph's gone, right?
Yeah, they're
no
gonna
doubt
go.
about that.
Rudolph's gone.
That ended up being a terrible contract.
Tight end.
I loved it too.
Tight end for a team like the Giants that is currently rebuilding and developing is not a very important position.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss seeing y'all
not.
run tight end sweeps every game.
Please.
Soldier's gone.
the love
Human
of
turnstile.
The Garrett specialty.
They actually restructured Solder's contract, so I don't have any doubt in my mind they'll cut him, but it's not as big as you think. It's like a $5 million hit or something.
Yeah, and look, it's not even so much that I do feel bad a little bit for guys like Shepard and Martinez, because again, guys like that, you like to see those guys stay healthy, those guys to play, but look, they're hurt, and look, we've said this prior years, like, well, if Shepard was healthy, this guy would be good. Well, if Martinez was healthy, he'd be great. Well,
You can't
they're
do
not.
that.
Yeah, you can't do that. It's not. They don't have the. Unfortunately, they're not good enough to do that.
And I've seen people say, oh, they should cut Galladay. Listen, Galladay was a disaster in his first year. I don't think it's all of his fault.
No.
And I think with a better offensive system, and if they fix the offensive line, I think Jones will be able to get him the ball. And it won't feel like Jones is forcing him the ball.
Same with Tony.
Yeah, and I do
Yes.
think and I think two things. One, I think he really quit on Joe Judge, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. And two, just poor quarterback play. And obviously when you have Mike Glenn throwing the football, you're not going to do very well. So that's part of it. But look, he's a guy that catches the 50-50 balls. Jones is good with the deep throws, so it should fit him pretty well next year if they have a good system.
I wouldn't give up on him yet, and
yeah, me neither. I'm not giving up on him.
And I think I don't think they will. I really don't. You are listening to WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I am Michael Merlo. Alongside me, I have Matt Leonard, Ross Levine, Joshua Mahi, and Elijah Blain. 516-572-7440 to join the show. We are going to move on to the NBA here because there is much drama over here with New York basketball. The trade deadline is Thursday, correct?
Correct.
And there are a ton of rumors out there right now. We're going to start with the Nets and James Harden because Harden, I think he wants out. We've seen it for a couple of weeks now. He doesn't want to play for this team. It's been rumored the 76ers are the destination. The 76ers came out and basically said, we're going to get him in the summer if we don't get him now. And it looks like, on Friday it looked like it was a done, by Monday he'd be gone and he'd be on that team. But now it doesn't look like that. Steve Nash came out and said yesterday they are not trading him.
That could be coach speak.
Could be coach speak. They lost their eighth straight game yesterday, and he didn't play with a hamstring injury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's he would play if the game meant something.
Right.
Yeah.
Does this feel like a little too much, like when he got himself out of Houston?
It does.
Without getting fat?
He's checking it. Well, the weight is definitely an issue. And look, the guy, he's been playing her. He played her in the playoffs. Look, the guy does play. He plays. He's still a good player. He's not elite anymore, but he's still relatively good. I get his frustration in the sense about the whole Kyrie thing.
100%.
I get it. And look, Kevin Durant being out doesn't help. So, look, do I think Harden's going to be at Brooklyn Net next year? No, but I could definitely see him getting traded, in a couple of days.
Yeah, there's only one team I'd see him with, and that's Philly.
That's the only team connected
Yeah.
to him.
Yeah, so
It
I
just
don't know
makes
where else he
sense
would
with
fit.
Morey and
yeah.
Wasn't there like a rumor like Harden, like this was last year when the Knicks were actually a decent team. Harden wanted to go there, and it never materialized.
He's not going to want to go there now because he's trying to get out of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Why do you want to go across the city?
No, like he actually, there was rumors like he likes, he likes the Knicks. Again, I didn't believe it, but
I don't believe that.
You know what's weird too? It's to that point, he's made comments about like complaining about the Brooklyn Nets crowd and there's always fans of the other team cheering louder than our fans and blah blah blah.
Yeah, that's not going to be a problem in Philadelphia.
He's complained about living in Brooklyn, and he had came out and said this is not the issue. The issue is more of the organization and what they're doing right now. And they're obviously, like you said, Durant out does not help the situation. And of course, you have 8 of these next 9 games are at home. Kyrie, for at least right now, is not playing in those games, so he's going to have to shoulder the load. He didn't come here to be the number one guy to carry this team. He wanted to play with a couple of stars and win a championship. It might sound, soft, but that's what he came here to do. That's why he wanted to be traded here. And now he's got to do everything he can. He's an older guy. He's not in shape. He's not the same player, and he doesn't feel like shouldering this load. And honestly, I can't disagree with him. He didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though, but he wanted out of Houston, so he kind of did sign up for it. He said, I want out of Houston. He said he wanted to go to Brooklyn. He wanted to get out of Houston.
He wanted to get out of Houston and play with a couple of stars.
Yeah.
Okay, but you asked for that, though. This is what happened when you play with a guy like Kevin Durant, who just came off an Achilles injury, with the Golden State Warriors, and Kyrie Irving, who, let's be honest, gets hurt, too.
And Kyrie Irving disappears for random periods of time.
Yeah, he's not the most reliable person.
So he did ask for this in a way. He kind of did. It's kind of on him a little bit too.
It's just boo-hoo coming from alleged greatest scorer of all time, or one of them.
Saying Harden?
Harden? That's what people were calling him.
Daryl Morey said that, like, according to analytics, that he's the greatest scorer of all time.
I thought you were talking about Durant, and I was going to say you have an argument. There you have an argument.
People were saying that about Harden like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I swear to you.
That's ridiculous. Even when Harden went on that run, we had like however many 30-point games in a row. That's because nobody was there that could score the ball.
Yeah.
There was nobody there, and
the free throw rules weren't a thing yet.
The rules were just, it was the most disgusting it's ever been in the NBA history. Like, if you touched him, he was going to the line.
That's why
he was shooting like 25 free throws a night.
Yeah.
That's also helped that has not helped him, excuse me.
No.
Him not going to the line as often. And he's complained about the referees, letting them play a little too much. That's hurt the stat sheet. And listen, he hasn't been terrible this year, but he hasn't been the same. He hasn't been the James Harden we know. And now let's go over to the 76ers very quickly, who are playing very well and are very interested in bringing James Harden in and pairing him with Joel Embiid, who is, in my opinion, the MVP of the league this year.
MVP.
My boy Joel. They don't want to trade. They don't want to trade Tyrese Maxey. And why? Why would they want? Why wouldn't they?
No.
Of course they don't want to.
No.
He's been
Untouchable.
fantastic for them.
Who would you trade then?
Ben
Thibault?
Simmons is in the trade. You trade Thibault and you trade Curry, but I wouldn't accept that if I was
like
the
Steph
Nets.
Curry for them too, but if you happen to choose between him and Maxey,
100%.
Yeah.
Steph.
The perfect trade to me for this, for both sides to get this done, would be Maxey, Simmons, and another player,
Maybe a pick.
and a couple of picks. And you'd probably send a couple of picks their way too.
Is that worth it for how James Harden's playing?
I'm
though?
not getting rid of Maxey.
I wouldn't get rid of Maxey.
I wouldn't either.
I think this kid's going to be a
young
stud.
player.
He's already playing very well.
He is what they thought Simmons would be, I think. Maybe not that high of a level.
I think
He's developing into that.
I think they knew what Simmons was. I think they understood Simmons couldn't shoot. I didn't think they ever thought it would get to this level where it was just he literally can't play for them.
Yeah.
But he was always a guy that, like a point forward that would take the ball and drive to the basket. I don't think Harden gets traded. That's my opinion. I could be proven wrong.
I think
the next
you're
couple
right.
Of days.
I think you're right, and it would be so stupid for the Nets not to trade him. Because
I think they should.
He's gone.
Well,
you're going to get nothing for him.
He's gone, and is it really working? I mean, let's say, are the rules going to change in the next week or two? Because Kyrie was, very, what's the word I'm looking for? He was like making it a scene yesterday. Somebody said, "How do you feel about not playing the next, week or so?" And he's like, "Hey, who knows?"
He's not in touch with reality is what he is.
Like, who knows if I'm not going to be able to play?
Hey, the governor may have a press conference tomorrow and say, Kyrie Irving, you can play.
You're the only one that's allowed to play.
I mean,
I saw a tweet. Go ahead, Elijah.
yeah, I said this is why you don't rely on 3 stars. One who's coming off an Achilles injury, one who barely shows up to games, and another one that,
not
is
what
a
he is,
free
not what
throw
he was
guy.
anymore.
Yeah, when the rules were changed. So
Kyrie's only eligible to play in 10 of the Nets' last 29 games.
Ooh. So like a third of the games you get Kyrie.
yeah.
It's not looking good for.
Could you imagine if they let him play only home games from the beginning, how they look now? Could you imagine that?
And you know what's funny?
So much would be different. You're right.
I know.
Everybody asks, why wouldn't you just keep Harden when you have the big 3 fully healthy? What will it look like? You haven't had them fully healthy or together.
16
Can't
games
handle
in 2
games.
years. 16 games.
It won't happen. So you can't ask for that. I would get rid of him, but I wouldn't make a stupid trade. I would not trade him for Ben Simmons and Seth Curry. I wouldn't do that. I don't think it's worth it. And I think Simmons, if he's not asked to be one of the 2 primary scorers, I don't think he would be that bad here. He's a great defender,
Good passer, too.
but you can't have him on the floor late in games because he can't hit free throws. 52%.
Kevin Durant would be the perfect superstar for Ben to play with.
Oh,
Think
yeah.
about it. Like seamless.
My only issue with trading for him is what I just said. You can't have him on the floor late in games. What do you think? I mean, 50%.
Yeah, you can't have a guy shooting 50% at the line in big games.
as your point guard. Or
Yeah, that seems like the Knicks.
I think if he can fix that issue with not even shooting a jump shot, the free throw problem.
he hasn't fixed it.
I'm
though.
saying
But he's
if he can just fix that, forget making threes, forget even making mid-range jumpers.
No, you're right.
The free throw problem is his biggest issue. I don't
Yes.
care if he ever makes a three-pointer for the rest of his life.
Agreed.
Like, look at a guy like Shaq. Shaq's biggest knock on him his whole career was he couldn't make free throws. He was still the most dominant player we've ever
And
seen.
Shaq was not scared to go to the line.
No.
He could figure it out as a player, not a superstar, but a player if he could hit free throws. He can be a solid player for you because, again, he's an all-world defender. He's a great passer. If he could just hit those damn free throws.
It's not even the worst we've ever seen. Like, he shoots 60%. I know guys in the NBA that shot 40%.
Right.
So it's not the worst in the league by any
For a
stretch,
guard,
but
for a ball handler, though,
it is bad.
It's rough.
But the bottom line, you can be a bad free throw shooter all you want. You can't be scared and just freeze up when you're at the line in playoff games.
That's true.
Like you guys
And
are right about
literally try and pass the ball out instead of taking wide open shots.
That's where I was going to go
because you're
next. And
scared to get fouled and go.
it
to the
wasn't even
line.
wide open shot. It was a layup. It was right there.
That's bad.
And if
it's
you're
all mental with him.
if you're afraid, if you're having an issue in Philadelphia, and I understand it's a tough place to play, it is.
Well, then don't go to Brooklyn.
Their media is tough, and their fans are tough, just like here, but not as tough as here.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well,
In Brooklyn, it could be a little easier.
It is easier.
It's definitely not like playing in the Garden every night.
No.
Yeah.
But still, it's New York, and you're still dealing with the same New York media. So that would be difficult for him. But being in the stadium, I think, those fans are a little more passionate than the fans at Barclays Center. No knock to Nets fans. I mean, come on.
Philly fans
mean,
are just nuts.
Barclays Center is
they're
a
nuts.
library at this point. I mean,
So you're going to knock the Barclays fans, okay?
yeah, I am.
yeah, Mike doesn't want to do it. I'll do it too. Come on now.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Passion
interesting.
when you're at the game.
But
He is a Nets fan. That's
I'm
why
not
he
a
is
Nets fan.
We're back.
I'm not a fan right now. I'm just
You're coming back.
I'm a spectator. Maybe I'm a 76ers fan.
He's a
Are
free
you
agent.
kidding me right now?
no.
maybe I'm a Joel Embiid fan.
Oh, no. God.
MVB, and I'm leading the
You
campaign.
can't keep doing this to us.
Maybe I'll just be a Embiid fan. Just
Joel
the only
Embiid.
thing I root for is him to win the MVP, and then I don't
That plays
care.
for me right now.
Did you see Joel Embiid's tweet about maybe a week ago now when Simmons had something come out saying again he's not going to play for the Sixers or whatever? He just tweeted out a package of Charmin Ultra Soft toilet
No.
paper. He did.
That is
It just says
funny.
Charmin Ultra Soft, and there's nothing else. And everyone knew, in the comments knew that's Ben Simmons. Like,
It's funny.
that's amazing.
He's the best NBA player troll, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Him or like what Lance Stevenson was when he was in his prime.
Lance Stevenson.
I got 3 teams right now I think can win the championship.
Okay.
Who are they?
The
Suns?
The Warriors.
Warriors Suns got to be 2.
Is there an Eastern Conference team?
Yes.
The Bucks.
Wow. Those are the three after the Super Bowl I'm putting money on to win the championship. Their odds are
You got
great.
the same as mine.
The Nets are the favorite at plus 250, then the rest of them are like
I have no idea how they're still the
600.
betting favorite. I saw that on FanDuel. I have no idea how they're still the betting favorite.
I mean, I hope by next week, because when my account clears out from the Super Bowl, or if I make some, I'll have it in there. I don't want to place the bets yet, but I'm going to place them after the Super Bowl on futures bets, and I hope they're still there.
I think the Bucks have like the fourth highest odds at 12.
Really 700. I think I saw last time. It might have changed now.
That's still great value though.
It's fantastic value.
I'd bet him. I mean, at this point, the Bucks are my favorite. I just really like Giannis.
People are
in the
sleeping on them
playoffs.
now too.
Yeah,
I think they're fifth in the East now, but they haven't been healthy either.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're easily gonna get to the NBA Finals. I think it's just the Bucks versus whoever makes it in the West.
You know what though? Like, we were all seriousness. We're sleeping on my 76ers. I mean, you got
Don't go Philly on us,
great. No, I'm
please.
kidding. I'm not. I teased it to my friends the other day, and they're like, "You traitor!" They're like, "How could you do that? You hate that city." I'm like, "I know. I'll never do it."
I mean, if you want to go back into the shows from like before the NBA season started, if we even have access to those, I said to everyone it's going to be a Bucks Warriors final, and people said I'm nuts. Nope,
I would have been right with you.
I think you were. You were the only one that was on my side. with them.
I like the Warriors.
You and I were on the Warriors. Yeah,
Steph
I was
Curry,
on the
Klay
Warriors,
Thompson,
too.
Draymond Green.
I was one of the only people here on the Bulls saying hi. They're going to be really high.
I thought the Bulls were going to
that.
be trash. I thought.
Yeah. I said they're going to be a top 4 seed in the East. Now look at them.
They're great. Dealing with some injuries, but they are really good. All right. 516-572-7440. Knicks fans, we're about to talk about your Knicks.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. What a mess it is. The Knicks blew a 20-point lead on Saturday.
Thumbs down to the Facebook Live.
By the way, first of all, about the whole Knick game, I didn't watch a second of it, and
Why
that's
would you not watch that?
Well, because I already know the outcome.
It was.
Why would I watch it
I'm
when I
not
know the
gonna-
outcome?
I was out, but it was on, and I was paying attention to it a little bit. It was a very entertaining game.
It was.
Matt, what did we say on Friday when two bad teams
that's
get
why
together?
I wanted to watch it.
It's always a classic.
Yep.
It was a very good game. Exciting, great plays, a lot of crazy, dunks on people. I saw people on the floor all game long.
R.J. Barrett.
That was a great shot.
Westbrook gets benched in overtime. R.J. Barrett plays great, hits a big shot to tie the game, to send it to overtime. LeBron misses a game winner from 3, which I think he shot a little too early, whatever.
You're 6'8", 250. Go to the damn basket. Why are you stepping back from 3-4?
It's a tie
Might be
game.
right.
Yeah.
Might be right.
He's not a shooter.
Like NBA, that's the funniest thing NBA players do when time's running down. Like, let me just take a step back 3.
What's
Yep.
LeBron's shot? Not his primary shot, but he likes to do that in those big moments. Take that step back, he'll miss. I don't.
It was undoubtedly
Go
a
to the cup.
entertaining game, but that's not what we're talking about. They
Well,
lost. Okay.
One point
whatever.
quick, Mike, about the LeBron thing. Whoever says LeBron is not clutch is wrong. His shot selection in those moments is the problem.
Yes.
I can agree with that.
That's what I've always said. His shot selection in the big moments is his biggest issue. He tries to be the hero too much.
Yep.
He can make clutch shots if there are shots he can make.
LeBron is clutch.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
All right. Let's actually just, for a second, go back to that game, because this happened, and the video's out now of Julius Randle. Josh, you sent it before. I'd seen it then on Twitter. A whole bunch. One of the video game coordinators had came... I said video game coordinator. What would you call them?
I think you got
it's
it right.
basically
Yeah.
Video game coordinator?
Yeah.
So just guys that show them film while they're on the bench came up to Julius Randle in the middle of the game, in which he didn't play bad. He wasn't playing bad.
He had 32 points.
One of his better games in a while, too.
And somebody tries to show him something, and he just shoves the computer, tries to shut the computer down, and he then gets in the guy's face. He's just trying to help you, bud. And this just shows, like, there's something wrong. I think there might be something going on. It's all mental. He's fighting something. And he is not made for this city, man. He is not.
Yeah. I mean, and it's so funny, too, right? Because it's almost if they trade him tomorrow, Wednesday, whatever, it's bittersweet. Because you wanted that player to be a guy that you build around for many years to come, and unfortunately, it doesn't even last halfway after the guy was 8th in MVP voting. And the Knicks, are going to get ripped for it if they trade this guy because they just signed him. So and you know he's going to be great when he comes back and he plays against the Knicks at the Garden. That is just what it is, and it's part of the course. The problem that you have here is you can't, for everybody that wants to blame the front office for signing him, how could you not sign this guy? The guy was 8th in MVP voting last year. If they didn't sign, they would have been ripped for it.
I agree with that, actually.
You don't think they could have waited, though?
Yeah.
I mean, they had him under contract for this year already.
They took the safest route. I feel like after the last season, like you said, 8th in MVP voting, if he has another year like that, you're going to have to give him a supermax.
Yeah.
You're going to have to give
Julius Randle $200 million.
And they ended up not doing that, which, I mean, maybe they did play it right because it's not a great contract, but it's not immovable.
Exactly.
And look, there's other things you can question, like the Kemba Walker just swing and a miss. The Evan Fournier, he's been better lately, but still swing and a miss. There's a lot of, like, Burks, I know he's been in a slump, decent contract, whatever. Look, there's a lot of things you can question the front. The Randall one, I don't think you could really question. It just, again, it's the result. It's like Thibodeau with his rotations. You're mad at him because of the result. Same thing with the front. You're just mad because of the result.
You know what the best therapy for what Randall is going through now? Send him to Sacramento. You're not going to be a big star in Sacramento.
A lot less fans in the stands in New York.
I mean, it's going to be quiet. He was really really good when he was with the empty gyms. And I feel like he's going to thrive there. So, But
even if he did thrive there, though, it's still, if the Knicks got like a decent return back, you still do it. It doesn't change the narrative. It's because, again, you said it. He's not built for New York. That's on him. That's not on the front office. That's not on anybody else but Julius Randle himself. And for him to, first it's a whole thumbs down thing with the fans. Then it's that whole thing with the whole, pushing the guy with the video game stuff. And then on top of it, it's, saying not being there for the media. That's on him.
Language.
That's all on him. It's not, you can't blame on that anybody else. Randall was like the nicest guy last year. Now he's like the worst guy. Can't really
the whole thing with his kid with the award last year. Like you could root for Julius Randle last year. If you're a Knicks fan or not.
Extremely lovable last year.
Yes, and now he's stayed in New York long enough for him to see himself become the villain.
And it's not even like missing shots or shot selection. Like, in all honesty, we've had players with bad shot selection. Carmelo Anthony had bad shot
but he made some of the shots.
Yeah, that, and he faced the media. One thing about Merlo, he did leave it all out there on the court.
Yeah,
that's all we ask for as New Yorkers.
Even at like his worst, like in 2017, he always felt like a leader. Julius Randle doesn't feel like a leader right now on the court.
Not at all. RJ Barrett at 21 years old feels more like a leader than
so that's why I'm fine with trading Julius Randle, because he's not the guy here.
What's that
RJ Barrett is now.
That'll be a culture shock for him when he's sent to Sacramento or something like that.
Yeah. Or like Portland, that's how I was going to go.
That'll be something. I hope that's what he wants, because it's on him. I mean, like you guys pointed out perfectly, whether it was not speaking to the media or cursing the fans out or just doing what he's doing, and on top of it not playing well, he did it to himself.
Yeah. If this last incident with the video coordinator was just an isolated incident, right? I wouldn't even care. Like, okay, you're passionate during the game.
He's frustrated.
Exactly. I think he got tech right after that. So, but it's too many instances of not talking to the media and this and that. It's too much.
Yeah. I mean, it's
like,
there's too much baggage right now with him for a player that's just not playing good enough.
Yeah.
You deal with baggage when you're dealing with a star. You're not dealing with a star right now. You're dealing with a guy that, you paid a lot of money, and that's fine, whatever, but he's not living up to the contract. He's not performing well.
Yeah.
And you got to do what you got to do to move off of him.
Yeah. You can't, unfortunately, it's sometimes it's a matter of, like, we say this all the time with a lot of guys from New York, and they go somewhere and they're very good. Well, they should have kept him. No, it doesn't work that way. They didn't work out here. So that's what you go by. And if they don't work out here, they don't work out here. If, let's say, I don't know, I know he's, like, that's the team you go to, is Sacramento. Otherwise, he probably stays where he is. Let's say he goes to a really good team, right? And he wins a championship where they go far in the playoffs. It's still the right move. It doesn't change anything. It's not good here. That team that was good already, they probably would be good without him anyway.
Adversely, too. Like, say a Randall De'Aaron Fox trade happens. De'Aaron Fox would be a lot better in New York than he's playing in Sacramento, right?
Oh, yeah.
Some players just need to change the scenery. Like, that's all that's
some guys we always see it. They elevate their game when they play in an arena like the Garden.
Yeah. It's just, I think it's a swap that makes sense. And listen, I think the next couple of days, it's the most important couple of days for the Knicks in a while.
I just feel like, look, this is just my opinion. I don't agree with it. I just think Brown's going to still be a Knick. That's what I think. I don't think they're going to trade.
I don't think column news now, though. I'm getting that feeling more too.
Yeah.
We got a caller on the line. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, hi, this is Charlie from Floral Park.
What's up, Charlie?
I listen to the various sports stations, and people are talking about trading Randall as if that's possible. What idiot would take on his contract? It doesn't begin till next year.
That is true.
Yeah.
No one's going to take him. You'd have to pay 3/4 of that contract.
That's why I don't think Portland's going to trade for them because I think Dame wants to win now there. I feel I feel like Sacramento would be more willing to take a chance because they don't really care. They want to rebuild.
He had one good year. He's not a good player.
I wouldn't say he's not a good player. I just think he's in a bad situation right now, and I think going to somewhere where no one cares.
But Randall made that situation. That's on him. It's not the Knicks. The Knicks did everything right. They paid the guys, so
they got him help.
They got him help, and he failed them. He didn't adjust. So that's directly towards him, not the front office. You could blame the front office for a lot of things. That's not one of them.
I just can't believe these contracts that players get late in their careers. Look at the Nets. These three guys, they're hurt all the time. And you're going to give Harden another 4 years at, what, $200 million?
That's
insane.
4 years, 117 for Randall. That'll start up in the 2022-2023 season.
There isn't anybody. Only the Nets would take that contract.
I'm trying. I want to look
up the good work. Thanks.
Thank you, Charlie, for the call. I want to look up De'Aaron Fox's contract. What's his deal? He's on a big-time deal, too. So
I don't think his extension's kicked in yet either.
No, this year it did.
Okay, so he signed a 5-year deal.
5-year deal worth $163 million. So essentially you're, what are you doing? You're taking their contract that they don't like, and you're swapping it out with your contract.
Yeah, I mean, they have 3 point guards. They have Halliburton, and they have the kid they drafted, Mitchell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they need like a forward-type guy like Randall, if we're thinking about it.
I think you're probably right. I think you guys are probably right. This is the most likely scenario. I don't know if... I don't even know if it has anything to do with Dame. Just do the Blazers want to do that?
Can I say something about that Portland situation? So... when I heard this news today, the whole CJ McCollum rumor, right? It was like, you guys ever play My Team in 2K when you're opening a pack and tells you the position and the team, where it's like, Knicks are interested in All-Star? Yes. Blazers? Yes. Guard? Yes. CJ McCollum? Oh.
Yeah. I mean...
What were you gonna give up for? What are you gonna give up for Dame?
I don't even want Dame, but like I would take him over McCollum.
No, I'm saying... like, this just makes the most sense. And honestly, I wouldn't even want McCollum.
I don't either. That's the point.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want McCollum. But Dame is not realistic. Unless you're trading RJ, Obi, Julius. Exactly. So if you don't want to do that, if you're not willing to do that, and I don't think the Knicks are in that situation where they're ready to trade for a superstar. We thought they were, and if they thought they were, they should have done it in the offseason.
Yeah, people thought, I think, a little... And not saying that they're wrong, but I think people thought sometimes a little too highly of the Knicks. They didn't factor enough in from that 72-game season a year ago, where again there was no fans in the stands. That's number one. Number two, you had a very weak Eastern Conference, and number three, you got a factor too. And nobody was prepared to play the Knicks last year. Everybody is now. There's a target on them now.
Those are great points.
So this whole idea of the Knicks are going to be this 41-win. Look, Jeff Van Gundy said it. If they make the play, and that's a success. Well, they can't even do that.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do that.
I mean, we got figured out in the Hawks series, and then people just ran with it.
And now we have this. I saw this on Twitter this morning as well. That Thibodeau didn't even want Cam Reddish.
Yeah,
and they made the trade without without even I guess signature from their head coach.
Yeah, he had no say for sure. Probably
that's ridiculous.
It's not crazy now to see that Cam Reddish hasn't played. We've seen it, and now we know why. And there's a clear disconnect, from the front office and from their head coach.
It's insane.
From all the Knicks news that broke today, this is the one that just got me hot.
Yeah. I think it's pretty clear that Thibodeau will not be back next season. At this
I don't know about
He has
that.
no. I feel like. Well, I don't know either, but I feel like he has to be gone.
Yeah, but that's another coach you're since 2000 where you're just constantly changing coaches. You're not going to do anything.
You're not going to do anything, but this is a guy. This is a guy who doesn't play young players, Josh.
Yeah.
And you got to develop the young talent instead of playing, Emmanuel Quickly more. You're playing Evan Fournier, who we've seen what he can do. And at this point in the season, I get it if you're competing for a playoff spot, but at this point in the season, you should be playing Quickly a little more and kind of cutting a little bit off of Fournier's
I
minutes.
agree. Look, I agree they should play the young guys. My only thing is I've seen the way the Knicks history has gone, and they good coaches that if you thought were going to come into the New York Knicks, they've spit them out, and you can't consistently do that. And yes, it's not looking good now, but here's the thing. This is what I'm going to say: the prior two spots that Tim Thibodeau has been fired from, they've been terrible, awful the last 4 or 5 years when they left. The Bulls finally got good this year, but it doesn't usually normally work out when Tibbs leaves.
Timberwolves are good right now, though.
Yeah, but it took a while.
I think it's the same thing with your Giants. I mean,
yeah,
firing coaches is not a good look after 1 or 2 years. But if it's not the right guy, it's not the right guy. I feel like
no, it's not. It's not the right guy.
If the Knicks are not trading for a superstar. And either way, we've seen how it goes with superstars with him. He overworks them. But if you're not trading for a superstar and you want to develop young talent, this isn't the guy to have.
I look at teams like Charlotte with a lot of young talent. Look at teams like the Cavs who are in the 4th seed right now. Where we were last year. What are they doing? They're playing their young guys. They're giving them a chance. They're giving them run out there. I feel like if Tibbs wants to play Alec Burks 40 minutes over the likes of Cam Reddish and Quickly for the rest of the season, no, I've seen enough already.
Yeah, look,
I don't want him back next season.
Yeah, look, it comes down to what they do at the trade deadline. If they trade guys like Burks, well, then you're going to be playing those guys. It's going to come down to Thursday what they decide. I mean, they'll decide they play young guys. I mean, look, I agree they should be playing these young guys. I just then prepare to be really bad for the next 3 years. That's all I'm going to say.
What else is there?
Whatever happens in the offseason, I feel like. I don't know. The front office is going to force Tibbs' hand to play Reddish because you can't trade a first-round pick for the guy and then have him play 20 total minutes in 7 games.
It doesn't feel like there's a plan. There's a clear plan right now for this team. Like, yes, you have RJ and you have other young players on this team, but what's the end game?
I feel like Tibbs has his own plan and the front office has their own plan, and it's just a disconnect. And
we can't be on that disconnect. And if you are, ultimately, the guys in the front office win,
but then
they're not going to sign on the coach.
But usually those scenarios where they're not on the same page, usually you clean house. Usually you move on from both.
I don't think they'll move off of Leon Rose yet in Worldwide West. But I'll say this about the last thing I'll say, and Leon Rose. You don't hear a peep from this guy, and I can't stand that. Hated it with the Mets. You never heard from the Mets owners ever. And I know he's not the owner, but still, you don't hear anything from Leon Rose. Nothing.
Well, he's probably banging his head against the wall because he realized that Kemba Walker was a bad signing.
Yeah,
he's trying to find a way to get another CAA guy. So yeah.
That's going to do it, guys. Great show, as always. Tomorrow, obviously, more Super Bowl stuff and, the Knicks and the trade deadline. Thanks for listening to WHPC Sports Talk. For Matt Leonard, Joshua Mahi, Ross Levine, Elijah Blain, I am Michael Merlo here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.